the English story that will teach you life's biggest lesson. Hey there. Welcome back to Speak in English. I'm so glad you're here today because I'm about to share a story with you that will change the way you think about life. This is not just any story. It's one that will teach you one of the biggest lessons you'll ever learn. And trust me, by the time we're done, you'll walk away with a perspective on life that will stay with you forever. So, what's the lesson? You'll see. But here's the hook. It's about how the smallest decisions we make today can shape our entire future. Ready to hear this powerful English story? Let's dive in. This story takes place in a small English village, nestled in the countryside. Picture rolling hills, cobblestone streets, and the sound of birds chirping in the distance. It's the kind of place where life seems simple, where everyone knows everyone else, and the days pass by slowly. In this village lived a man named William, a farmer who had spent his entire life working the land. William wasn't rich, but he was content. He had a small farm, a modest house, and a loving family. He believed that happiness came from hard work, a steady routine, and the simple pleasures of life. But little did he know, life was about to present him with a decision that would change everything. One cold autumn morning, something strange happened. A man arrived in the village. He wasn't from around here, and no one recognized him. He had a mysterious air about him, with a suitcase in hand and a look in his eyes that suggested he was carrying a heavy burden. The villagers didn't know what to make of him. Some were suspicious, others simply curious. But what caught William's attention wasn't the man's mysterious appearance. It was the fact that the stranger was heading straight toward William's farm. William, being a kind and welcoming man, didn't hesitate to invite the stranger in for a warm meal. Little did he know, this would be the moment that set everything in motion. Over dinner, the stranger, who introduced himself as Ethan, shared his story with William. Ethan was a traveler, a man who had seen the world and lived through experiences most people could only dream of. He wasn't wealthy, but he was rich in knowledge and wisdom. He spoke about the places he had visited, the people he had met, and the lessons he had learned along the way. As the evening progressed, William couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Ethan's words stirred something deep inside him. He spoke about possibilities, about choices, and about how life is not just about surviving, but about living fully. At one point, Ethan said, "William, I've seen many men live their lives by the same routine, day in and day out. But the question is, are they really living? Or are they just waiting for life to happen to them?" William, ever the hard worker, was taken aback. He had always believed that hard work was the key to happiness, that if you just kept your head down and did what you were supposed to do, life would reward you. But now, Ethan was challenging everything he had believed. That night, William couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, his mind racing with the conversation he had had with Ethan. He kept thinking about those words. Are you really living? For the first time in years, William felt like he was standing at a crossroads. He had always played it safe, always stuck to the same routines. He had a good life, but was it the life he really wanted? Was he living with purpose? Or was he simply going through the motions? The next day, as he worked on his farm, William found himself looking at everything differently. He saw the beauty in the simple things, but he also felt the weight of the what-ifs. What if he took a risk? What if he stepped outside of his comfort zone? What if he did something truly meaningful, something that could change the course of his life? After days of reflection, William made a decision. He couldn't ignore the feeling that there was more to life than what he had been living. So, he packed his bags and set off on an adventure of his own. He didn't know exactly where he was going or what he would find, but for the first time in his life, he was ready to face the unknown. Ethan's words echoed in his mind. Life is about the choices we make. It's about taking risks and embracing the possibilities. William left the farm behind, not because he didn't love it, but because he wanted to experience something more. He wanted to find out who he could be outside of the routine he had lived for so long. As William traveled, he saw the world in ways he never imagined. He met people from different cultures, experienced things he had only read about, and discovered a sense of freedom and excitement he never knew existed. Each day, he woke up with a sense of purpose, knowing that he was shaping his own future. He learned that life wasn't just about working hard. It was about embracing the unexpected, taking risks, and choosing to live fully, with passion and purpose. He realized that the biggest lessons in life often come from the moments we least expect. And most importantly, he learned that no matter how old we are, it's never too late to change our story. Months later, William returned to the village. But he wasn't the same man who had left. He had seen the world, and in doing so, he had found himself. He had learned that the key to happiness wasn't in the work you do, but in the life you choose to live. When he returned, he still worked on his farm. But now, it wasn't just about the crops or the land. It was about the connections he had made, the experiences he had gained, and the person he had become. He shared his story with the villagers, telling them that life was about more than just surviving. It was about living with intention, about making choices that truly reflect who we are. And most importantly, he reminded them that we always have the power to change our story. So, what's the lesson we can take from William's story? It's simple but powerful. Life is about the choices we make. It's about stepping outside of our comfort zones, taking risks, and embracing the unknown. It's easy to fall into a routine, to think that happiness comes from doing the same thing day in and day out. But the truth is, life is too short to live like that. We all have the power to make a change, to choose a new path, and to create the life we want. So, my challenge to you today is this. What choice can you make right now that will shape your future in a meaningful way? It doesn't have to be big, but it should be something that makes you feel alive. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Speak in English for more stories and lessons like this one. And in the comments below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's a choice you've made that changed the course of your life? Let's talk about it.